exactly did you get into like the producing aspect? Like, did you always like want to go that route?
Honestly, yeah. So I had kind of a strange journey there. In college, I was a student coach at Missouri with the quarterbacks there. So
Mm.
I thought about doing the coaching side of it first. So
Yeah.
after college, I came back. I'm originally from Connecticut. Went out to Missouri.
Wow. So you've been like over on the northeast, and then you're like, okay, let me come in here. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I wanted to go somewhere different, experience a different part of the country, get away from the Northeast, get away from the New York area.
Oh yeah. Get away from
Yeah.
that bubble that you were kind of in. So you wanted, you like started out, you wanted to be like a coach, right?
Yeah, so I was
Oh,
working with the quarterbacks out there in Missouri, and
wow.
luckily too, I got there at the right time because that was I was working with the team from '06 to '09, and that's when
Hmm.
we had a nice run. I worked with Chase Daniel there; he was the Heisman finalist,
Wow.
so that was like I got really lucky to get there right when things started heating up for them. So I came back after college. I graduated. I had a degree in English.
So from there, like how exactly did you go down the route of like, all right, I want to be in this like arena, but I don't want to like I don't know like how, but
Yeah.
you're like I want to be like producing side of things.
Yeah, so I ended up going back to Connecticut afterwards. I coached
Mhm.
high school football for a couple of years.
Wow.
And I was in grad school for English education. So I was thinking maybe,
Wow. So you're thinking like I could be a teacher.
yeah, I could teach and coach. And, I loved coaching so much. Like, I love, especially
That's
high school.
awesome.
That was my favorite couple of years, like getting to
Mm.
work with these kids. And it was just,
A
it,
rewarding
it,
experience, I'm sure.
it really was. It was a
Mm.
special experience. I did that for a couple of years. I got the opportunity. Actually, someone who used to play on this, who graduated before I left, like reached out. They had an opportunity at NFL Films.
What?
Needed somebody who could break down coaching tape. They had a show called Playbook that was all like X's and O's based. So they needed somebody that knew the football side, the X's and O's,
Mm.
to kind of help them come up with concepts for their show.
Wow.
So they interviewed me to do that, and I figured, like NFL Films is a legendary place. Like
Oh
growing
yeah.
up being a fan of the history of the game, and loving football as much as I did, it's
Mm.
part of that opportunity. I figured I could go down there. It was an internship position, so I figured, if it doesn't work out, I could come back,
Yeah.
go pick up classes again, and you know, um, but I can't pass up the opportunity to go to
Mm.
a place like that and get to watch NFL coaching tape every day, because that was before like NFL Game Pass or anything had coaching
Oh,
tape, so I never really had access to be able to see it. So I
that's so.
figured, worst case scenario, I'll be able to watch all this, soak up all this coaching tape, and it'll help my coaching. Um,
Mm.
Went down there. So I took that internship working on Playbook, and I loved it, and I kind of fell in love with the production side from there. So while my main job was just watching tape and breaking down concepts, I would stay after work, and luckily there were some incredible people there who were patient and willing to take the time with me and teach me how to edit and teach me about producing. And
That's awesome.
yeah, so I had this one friend, Jeff, who's still at NFL film class, but he went to USC Film School, and
Wow.
he was incredible, and he was the nicest guy in the world. So he'd sit with me and kind of talk to me about shot selection, all sorts of things production related. So I just kind of learned on the job from there.
Any other like sports that you're like big into, or just like you're overall like a sports fan from the get
Yeah, I
go?
mean, as you can see, I love baseball.
Oh heck yeah.
Basketball is actually my favorite sport to play. Yeah, so yeah, I grew up like instantly, like just being obsessed with sports. From when
Hmm.
I can remember like being 5 years old, and I was just obsessed. And especially football was my first love. The first season I can remember was like the '94 season. I was 7 years old, and I was like, I can remember like everything from that season. I was like all the way in, and like other 7-year-olds are like playing with action figures and stuff. I'm like
Oh
stuck.
yeah. That's the best feeling. That's how you know like you're in the right field.
And we had I remember at my elementary school, they made us every Friday we had to take out 2 books and we had to have them for the week, like to read over the weekend. And they had a section of our elementary school library that had a book on every single NFL team that kind of gave like a rundown of their history. So every week I would check out 2 books, 2 of those books. So I just learned the history of every single team in the league. And eventually, like, they called my parents and like, he can take one football book, but he has to pick another book.
Is there like one specific like game that always sticks out to you that like either you went to as a fan growing up or something, or just like now?
The one that I don't know was the most that stands out to me the most from like going to as a kid. I remember the 2000 NFC divisional game was the Giants and the Eagles. And I went with my dad, and we were sitting all the way up in the nosebleeds. And Ron Dixon for the Giants ran back the opening kickoff for a touchdown. And I've never heard any stadiums like that, seen any stadium look like that. It was shaking. The entire thing was bouncing up and down.
Oh my gosh.
And that was just such a special moment. And I saw a clip of it for the first time in a long time the other day.
Ooh.
On Twitter. Somebody just put it up on Twitter. And it's like, it gave me goosebumps just like going back to that moment.
What has been like something that has like, I guess, stayed with you to keep, I guess, moving forward in your career?
I've been really, really lucky, honestly. Like,
Mhm.
there are people that want to get started in their career that'll ask me for advice and ask me for things. Like, honestly, like, I've been really, really lucky that I've had good people around me that have helped put me in positions to succeed. Because no matter how hard you work, no matter how good you are, what you do, like, you're not going to make it far if people don't notice and if there aren't good people who are willing to stick their necks out for you. So, you know, I was really, really lucky in that regard. Like, if I didn't have those people, there's no chance I could be where I am. I think the biggest thing is like that I learned through my experience is like, don't kind of be set on whatever you think the path is that you want. Like, be open to the path going in a bunch of different directions, because you never know what's going to help you in the long term or what's going to lead to other things or what you might even enjoy more than what you think you want.